Today is Monday, June 8th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are on Chapter 10. To employers, we will read page 143. Out of the 12 and 12, we will begin Tradition 8 by reading page 166. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. As I'm recording this is actually the evening time, and just to do a quick inventory, yesterday, my kiddos and I, the whole family and I, we went outside and burned some brush and did some s'mores and swam. It was awesome. And then today, it's been nice, a nice low-key day, a little rainy day today, and we have built a fort in the living room and just goofed off. It's been great. It just reminds me that these little moments, man, this is the good stuff. And I'm so thankful that I'm present in the moment. I'm alive and I'm sober today, because I think about those days when I was drinking. I easily could have hurt somebody else when I was driving, or took my own life, or lost my family. I was definitely on that path. And on the other side of it today, June 8th, 2026, we're building pillow forts in the living room. What a blessing it is to be alive and sober today. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from Chapter 10, To Employers, we left off on a page where we were talking about presenting this material to the employee. So we're going to continue on page 143. If your man accepts your offer, it should be pointed out that physical treatment is but a small part of the picture. Though you are providing him with the best possible medical attention, he should understand that he must undergo a change of heart. To get over drinking will require a transformation of thought and attitude. We all had to place recovery above everything. For without recovery, we would have lost both home and business. Can you have every confidence in his ability to recover? While on the subject of confidence, can you adopt the attitude that so far as you are concerned, this will be a strictly personal matter? That his alcoholic derelictions, the treatment about to be undertaken, will never be discussed without his consent? It might be well to have a long chat with him on his return. To return to the subject matter of this book, it contains full suggestions by which the employee may solve his problem. To you, some of the ideas which it contains are novel. Perhaps you're not quite in sympathy with the approach that we suggest. By no means do we offer it as the last word on the subject. But, so far as we are concerned, it has worked with us. After all, are you not looking for results rather than methods? Whether your employee likes it or not, he will learn the grim truth about alcoholism. That won't hurt him a bit, even though he does not go for this remedy. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Tradition 8. Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. So we're on page 166. Alcoholics Anonymous will never have a professional class. We've gained some understanding of the ancient words, freely ye have received, freely give. We have discovered that at the point of professionalism, money and spirituality do not mix. Almost no recovery from alcoholism has ever been brought about by the world's best professionals, whether medical or religious. We do not decree professionalism in other fields, but we accept the sober fact that it does not work for us. Every time we have tried to professionalize our 12th step, the result has been exactly the same. Our single purpose has been defeated. Alcoholics simply will not listen to a paid 12th stepper. Almost from the beginning, we have been positive that face-to-face work with the alcoholic who suffers can be based only on the desire to help and be helped. When AA talks for money, whether at a meeting or to a single newcomer, it can have a very bad effect on him too. The money motive compromises him in everything he says and does for his prospect. This has always been so obvious that only a very few AAs have ever worked the 12th step for a fee. Despite this certainty, it is nevertheless true that few subjects have been the cause of more contention within our fellowship than professionalism. Caretakers who swept floors, cooks who fried hamburgers, secretaries in offices, authors writing books. All these we have seen hotly assailed because they were, as the critics angrily remarked, making money out of AA. Ignoring the fact that these labors were not 12-step jobs at all, the critics attacked as AA professionals these workers of ours who were often doing thankless tasks that no one else could or would do. Even greater furors were provoked when AA members began to run rest homes and farms for alcoholics, when some hired out to corporations as personnel men in charge of the alcoholic problem in industry, when some became nurses on alcoholic wards, when others entered the field of alcohol education. In all these instances, and more, it was claimed that AA knowledge and experience were being sold for money. Hence, these people too were professionals. "24 hours a day, June 8th. AA thought for the day. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. We always get worse, never better. We are never cured. Our alcoholism can only be arrested. No matter how long we've been sober, if we try liquor again, we're as bad or worse than we ever were. There is no exception to this rule in the whole history of AA. We can never recapture the good times of the past. They are gone forever. Will I try to recapture them? Meditation for the day. Your life has been given to you mainly for the purpose of training your soul. This life we live is not so much for the body as for the soul. We often choose the way of life that best suits the body, not the way that best suits the soul. God wants you to choose what suits the soul as well as the body. Accept this belief, and a wonderful molding of character is the result. Reject it, and God's purpose for your life is frustrated, and your spiritual progress is delayed. Your soul is being trained by the good you choose. Thus, the purpose of your life is being accomplished. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may choose what is good for my soul. I pray that I may realize God's purpose for my life. Daily Reflection, June 8th. Opening up to change. Self-searching is the means by which we bring new vision, action, and grace to bear upon the dark and negative side of our natures. With it comes the development of that kind of humility that makes it possible for us to receive God's help. We find that bit by bit, we can discard the old life, the one that did not work, for a new life that can and does work under any conditions whatever. As Bill sees it, pages 10 and 8. I have been given a daily reprieve contingent upon my spiritual condition, provided I seek progress, not perfection. To become ready for change, I practice willingness, opening myself to possibilities of change. If I realize there are defects that hinder my usefulness in AA and toward others, I become ready by meditating and receiving direction. Some of us tried to hold on to our old ideas and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 58. To let go and let God? I need only surrender my old ways to Him. I no longer fight, nor do I try to control, but simply believe that, with God's help, I am changed, and affirming this belief makes me ready. I empty myself to be full of awareness, light, and love, and I am ready to face each day with hope. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. Man, some great stuff. That last one hits hard too. That daily reflection. I have been given a daily reprieve contingent upon my spiritual condition, provided I seek progress, not perfection. There are some days that certain things are easy to give up to my higher power, and there's some days and some things that I just don't want to give up. One of the things that I struggle with is sweets. Sugar addiction. That is a son of a gun for me. I'm not even going to lie. But it makes total sense because alcohol, I've always heard, is converted into sugar in our brains, and my brain still craves sugar sometimes. So I go to the gym and I'm not, and I might not be necessarily obese, but I'm also probably not healthy, and I can still obsess over it, right? So turning that over to my higher power every day is something I struggle with. Another one, pride. I can get prideful. When I look for the motive, I go, oh, you know what? I did that for me. Or I did that to protect my image because I really don't want people to look at me a different way. I still do it. It's still there, right? However, some other handicaps of mine, over time, there has been progress. Now, as I've said many times, for the things that are still there, what I used to do is beat myself up and go, oh man, you snake, look at you. You're not sober. Look at you. You're just dry. You're still a, SOB, whatever. All that negative talk, right? But that's not helpful. Looking at these things that I still struggle with is a beautiful reminder, honestly, of my need for my higher power and to work this program every day. So I try to talk to myself differently and go, okay, Rob, what can you learn from this experience? What can we try differently today that we've never tried before to prevent this from happening again? I don't personalize the failures anymore. I just try to use it as feedback. Somebody told me one time, talk to yourself the way you would talk to a friend you really care about. And he asked me, who's a friend of yours that you really care about? And I told him who it was. And then it says, okay, you just saw your friend do this X, Y, and Z. How would you talk to your friend about that? And I had to think about it, and I would say this, dude, you're human. I can help you pray about this, and let's come up with some solutions together. But don't beat yourself up, man. It sounds to me like you're a human being. So, over time, and it's taken many years, I'm being honest, it's taken many years to switch my self-talk, but it's finally starting to kick in. I'm a slow learner, as my mom could attest to when she would help me with my spelling words in second grade. Sometimes it took me writing the same word down 50 to 100 times before I finally got it. But you know what? I got it. But yeah, and this, I don't know if this quote has anything to do with the reading or not, but I heard a Fred Rogers quote recently. You can't really love someone else until you really love yourself first. And man, that's something to think about, right? And speaking of Fred Rogers, I'll say this and I'll hush, but there's a great quote here from the book A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It's just a list of wisdom that Fred Rogers has learned about different subjects along his many, many years working with children and psychology and being a pastor. So here is a quick story about love on page 21 of his book. Helen Ross was a good friend who taught teachers, doctors and psychiatrists, and consulted with professionals working with children and families all over the world. She was one of the great people of our age in the understanding of the dynamic development of human beings. After one operation for cancer and some subsequent therapy, Helen chose to refuse treatment when the cancer reappeared. One day I visited her. I found Helen very frail, yet interested in all that I had to tell her about our television work and her Pittsburgh friends. Some of the time, I just held her hand, and we said nothing. We didn't have to. After one of those silences, Helen said to me, "Do you ever pray for people, Fred?" "Of course I do," I said. "Dear God, encircle us with thy love, wherever we may be." And Helen replied, "That's what it is, isn't it? It's love. That's what it's all about." Helen was 88 when she died. She had spent most of her adult life working and understanding the complexities of human growth and development. And her summation of life is that love is what it's all about. It meant a lot to hear that from her. So, here you have some person who's studied this all her life, and she sums it all into one word. All the growth and development children need, adults need, everyone. If you could sum it up into one word, it's love. I used to confuse love with infatuation, but to unconditionally love others. And if you're lucky to have somebody unconditionally love you, man, nothing better than that. But my friends, I've rambled on way over. Tomorrow, I'm excited to play our next voicemail. Somebody else has called, a dear friend named Chris. I'm really excited to share that message, so stay tuned for that. And if you want to share your experience, strength, and hope, you can always email in at bigbookdaily@gmail.com. Please know I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon. I am just a joyful drunk in this lifeboat of recovery. And if we are given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.